Welcome to my channel. Try to hear the latest story.
My brother texted, "Hope you die alone, you pathetic loser." A few hours later, my parents called, "Your brother's in the hospital. Send $15,000 now or he'll die." I hung up and went back to sleep. Then everything blew up. Sup Reddit. So, at 2:17 a.m., my parents called from Lake Tahoe begging for $15,000. My brother Jace was in the ER with broken ribs after a casino incident. They were broke, desperate. I told them to call my sister. Then I powered my phone off and went back to sleep. Here's why that hangup was 10 years in the making. I, 32 male, am a structural engineer living alone in Denver. Been here 8 years. I'm the oldest of 3. My younger brother Jace is 28. Baby sister Savannah just turned 25. Dad retired early from the Nevada Highway Patrol with a pension. Mom never worked outside the house. We grew up in North Las Vegas. Nothing fancy but comfortable enough. The second Jace was born, everything changed. Golden child. Only boy besides me, but treated like the heir apparent. Future man of the family. Could do no wrong. Savannah showed up 3 years later. The princess who got everything by batting her eyelashes. Me? Take care of your siblings, Nolan. You're the oldest. That's your responsibility. Family comes first. Here's what that actually meant in dollars. $28,000 for Jace's UNLV tuition. I was 22, fresh out of college. Moved back home for a full year. Worked 3 jobs at once. Day shifts on construction sites in 110-degree Vegas heat, nights waiting tables at a restaurant off Fremont Street, weekends doing CAD freelancing. I slept 4 hours a night for 12 straight months. He dropped out after 1 year because college wasn't his vibe. Mom hugged him, said boys will be boys. Dad took him to a game to cheer him up. Nobody ever mentioned my money again. $480 a month for Savannah's Jeep Wrangler Rubicon. 4-year loan straight from my paycheck. She sent me a thank you text with heart emojis. Then posted pictures on Instagram with the caption, "Big Bro Goals." Made 47 posts with that Jeep. Never once mentioned the payments I was making. $9,000 credit card bailout. Mom woke me up at 3 in the morning, completely hysterical. Credit cards maxed out on gaming setups for Jace and clothes for Savannah's content creation career. I transferred the money before I even got out of bed. Mom promised it was the last time. It wasn't. Every single time I tried to say no, the routine was identical. Mom would cry. Dad would get quiet and disappointed. Jace would call me selfish. Savannah would ghost me for weeks. So I started keeping a spreadsheet. Over the years, the bailouts kept coming. Emergency car repairs, security deposits, medical bills, temporary loans that were never repaid. It totaled $127,000. Every penny earned with my own hands. Not once did anyone say thank you, like they actually meant it. It was expected. My duty. What big brothers do. I moved to Denver at 24, thinking distance would help. It didn't. The requests just switched to Venmo and Zelle. I still said yes most of the time, because the guilt was heavier than my bank balance. Then I started waking up at night, staring at my ceiling, wondering if I'd ever own a place, ever start my own life, or if I was just going to bleed money back to North Las Vegas until I had nothing left. That's when it hit me. They didn't see me as their son. They saw me as an endless resource. A few weeks ago, Jace exploded into the family group chat with an announcement. He needed a reset weekend in Lake Tahoe with his buddy Garrett, the guy whose dad owns half the strip malls in Clark County. Just 4 days, 3 nights at Harrah's. Mom and Dad already covered the flights and the suite. Before I could process it, Savannah jumped in. She was tagging along for content. Added a winking emoji. "Don't stress, big bro. I'm riding with Garrett. 0 cost to the family fund." Mom sent a laughing emoji. Then added, "If anything goes sideways, Nolan will fix it. He always does." Nobody disagreed. Jace texted me privately that night. "Bro, for once your wallet gets a break. Parents got me covered 100%. You're off the hook, LOL." I typed back cool and left him on red. They flew out Thursday morning. The posts started hitting my phone right away. Savannah's video panning across the inside of a Gulf Stream. Private jet, check-in at Harrah's, 2-bedroom suite overlooking the lake, designer outfits with tags still attached, Jace throwing $100 chips at a craps table like confetti. Mom called Thursday night giddy. "Your brother is finally relaxing, Nolan. He worked so hard trying to find himself." Jace hadn't held a steady job longer than 4 months in his life. By Saturday, the post had ramped up. Private room at Harrah's, professional dealers, Stacks of chips so high they needed trays. The kind of room that requires a six-figure credit line just to get through the door. Jace filmed himself sliding $500 chips across the felt like it was nothing. Caption: this is what winners look like. Meanwhile, some people calculate bridge stress for $60,000 a year and think they made it. I started screenshotting everything. Created a folder on my phone. Savannah kept posting. That rose gold bracelet catching the light. I'd seen the price tag flash in an earlier story. $42,000. Then Jace filmed Savannah wearing it, panning to his chip stacks. Some people are born winners. Others are born to fund them. My phone buzzed. Jace, yo, can you Zelle me $800 real quick? Just want some extra cushion for the tables tonight. I stared at that message. Didn't respond. Another text from Jace an hour later. You've been hoarding that engineer's salary like some kind of dragon for what? So you can die alone in Denver with a fat 401k. Then Mom sent a selfie. Her and Dad at home, smiling. Caption: so proud watching Jace live his best life. Some kids just have that winner energy. String of heart emojis. I muted the group chat. I muted. Told myself whatever mess they were making, this time I wasn't cleaning it up. That promise got tested at 1:47 a.m. My phone lit up with a text from Jace. Wire 5K right now. Not asking. Do your job. I stared at it. Didn't respond. Turned the phone face down. 30 minutes later, my phone lit up like a fire alarm. Mom's name flashed again and again. I answered on the 5th ring. Put her on speaker. Didn't even say hello. Nolan, oh God, Nolan, he's dying. They said internal bleeding. They said his lung collapsed completely. He's on life support. They're saying he might not make it through the night without emergency surgery. Mom was hyperventilating between sobs. I could hear machines beeping in the background, dramatic and loud. I sat up in bed, turned on the lamp, grabbed a pen and notepad, started taking notes. Dad ripped the phone from her hand. His voice cracked, but I could hear the casino floor sounds behind him. Bells, music, announcements. Your brother is critical. Life-threatening injuries. Security beat him unconscious. 3 cracked ribs, punctured lung, internal bleeding. He's coding every few minutes. The doctors said without immediate surgery he won't survive till morning. He needs emergency rib plating, or his lung will collapse again, and he'll suffocate. 15 grand total. 5 for the casino debt, 10 for the hospital. He asked for you with his last conscious breath. I wrote it all down. The amount, the hospital name, 5 grand for the casino, 10 grand for the hospital. Mom grabbed the phone back, wailing. He's dying, Nolan. Dying. The monitors keep going flat. They had to shock him twice already. If you don't send the money in the next hour, you're killing your own brother. His blood will be on your hands forever. I sat up in the dark, room completely silent except for their hysteria on speaker. I knew ERs don't turn people away. They stabilize everyone regardless of payment. Why can't you two pay? Dead air. Then Mom broke into fresh sobs. We're completely broke, baby. We gave him everything we had for the trip and more. He was trying to win big to help the whole family. You've always been the strong one. This is what family does. I cut her off with 6 words I'd never said before. Call your perfect little princess. Then I ended the call. But I'm not a monster. I wasn't about to let my brother actually die over money. So I called the hospital directly. I'd been listed as his emergency contact for years because my parents always dumped paperwork on me. The nurse who answered didn't sound panicked. I'm calling about Jace, family member. Can you give me a status update? She put me on hold for maybe 30 seconds. He's stable. I can't go into details, but he's not in immediate danger. Stable. Not in immediate danger. No collapsed lung. No internal bleeding. No life support. No coding. My parents had made up a medical emergency to squeeze $15,000 out of me. I thanked the nurse, hung up, and yanked the charger cord out of the wall. Powered the phone all the way down. My heart was still hammering, but something inside me had gone completely still. No guilt, no second guessing, no tears. Just a cold, clean break. For a full minute, I lay there in the dark, waiting for the familiar wave of guilt to show up. It never came. I thought about the little boy who hid report cards because straight A's weren't as important as Jace's soccer practice. The teenager who worked 3 jobs so his brother could chase dreams he abandoned in a week. The man who delayed everything, home, family, vacations, because every dollar went south on I-15 to keep the golden child afloat. All of it ended with one phone call. I didn't feel triumph. I didn't feel revenge. I felt free. I rolled over and slept harder than I had in years. The next morning, I woke up at 8:32. Sunlight pouring across the hardwood. I left the phone dead on the floor. Made French press coffee. Took a shower, did laundry, watered the plants, normal Sunday things. I didn't plug the phone in until almost 10. The second it booted, chaos exploded. 61 missed calls, 147 texts. Voicemails stacked 3 screens deep. Mom's text started pleading and turned vicious within minutes. They had to resuscitate him again. He's brain dead now. The doctor said he's a vegetable. You did this. You murdered your own brother to save a few $1,000s, you greedy monster. I hope you die alone knowing you killed family. Dad sent one single message. He flatlined twice. They're keeping him alive on machines waiting for your money. You're watching him die. Savannah went nuclear. She posted a 30-second TikTok from the ER hallway, face streaked with mascara. Strategic camera angle showing the trauma center sign. My 28-year-old brother is on life support right now, and my own brother is refusing to send $15,000. $15,000. He makes 6 figures, and he's letting him die on a ventilator. He's brain damaged from oxygen loss. All because Nolan is refusing to help his own blood. She tagged my full name, my company, Bridgepoint Engineering Solutions, my city, even my university. The video got shared in every family group chat. Cousins, aunts, uncles, family friends, mom's church group, dad's old highway patrol buddies. Comments flooded in from people I recognized. You were always cold, Nolan. I always knew something was wrong with you. How can you do this to your own brother? Then came the photos uploaded every 30 minutes. Jace on a gurney, shirt cut open, ribs wrapped in blood-stained gauze, face swollen purple, eyes rolling back, oxygen mask fogged with condensation. A screenshot of mom's declined Zelle attempts. 6 tries, all rejected for insufficient funds. Another video of Savannah holding his hand while he groaned, zooming in on the heart rate monitor. Caption: Hour 6 without the surgery. Organ failure starting. Big bro still won't answer. My phone started buzzing with messages from relatives I hadn't heard from in years. I scrolled through it all while eating cereal, feeling absolutely nothing. The casino called first. Blocked Nevada number. I answered. This is the credit cage at Harrah's Lake Tahoe. We have your brother in holding for an outstanding casino credit account. Your name and address appear on the application. Can we verify information? I don't know anything about that credit line. Check with his parents. The woman hesitated. Sir, the address listed is 2847 Colfax Avenue, Denver, Colorado. Is that your current residence? My old address. From 3 years ago. My chest went cold. That's my information, but I never signed anything. This is identity fraud. She paused. Keyboard clicking. Understood, sir. We'll investigate and forward this to compliance. The account is frozen pending review. I need the name of your compliance officer and a case number. I hung up and pulled my credit report right away. Nothing. He'd used my info but hadn't actually opened anything in my name. Yet, that folder on my phone stopped being therapy. It became a case file. I opened a blank email and started typing to Harrah's general counsel. Subject line: Formal identity fraud report. Casino marker application. Attached every screenshot. The timeline of the trip. Evidence showing I was in Denver during the entire period. Bank statements showing 0 financial connection to Jace. I CC'd my lawyer and hit send. The hospital billing department rang 10 minutes later. Your brother is being treated and he's stable. The ER bill is $3,200. Anything beyond standard care would require authorization. Wait, he's stable? Breathing on his own? Yes, sir. The additional procedure he's requesting is elective in his situation. So he's not dying? Not on life support? No internal bleeding or collapsed lung? She paused. No, sir. Whoever told you that was mistaken. He's in fair condition. The pain management is working. He'll likely be discharged tomorrow. How much is he asking for the elective procedure? That would be an additional $12,000 for the surgical team and OR time. I sat back in my chair. So my parents called me at 2 a.m., claiming he was dying on life support. Needed $15,000 for emergency surgery, or he'd be dead by morning. And the reality is he has some broken ribs and wants an optional upgrade procedure. I'm not his insurance. I'm not paying for anything. He has parents. Call them. We have. They're here but unable to provide payment. Then he waits until he figures it out himself. Click. Mom tried FaceTime. Declined. Dad tried. Declined. Savannah tried from 3 different accounts. All declined. Then the group chat with extended family blew up. One aunt started a message thread. Subject: Nolan's cruelty. Screenshots of Savannah's videos. A long message about how I'd always been cold and distant. How I thought I was better than the family. I blocked every single one who piled on. Then I opened a new browser tab and went to the Colorado Attorney General's Consumer Protection Complaint portal, filed a consumer fraud complaint, attached hospital documentation showing stable condition versus their life support claims, the luxury trip photos, the timeline showing premeditated deception, complaint submitted, reference number logged. I forwarded copies of everything to the detective division, all the screenshots, the timeline, the evidence of the luxury trip, the hospital's real diagnosis versus the family's claims. Subject line, Jace, case evidence for identity fraud charges. Additional evidence of fraudulent medical claims. The detective replied within an hour. Thanks for the cooperation. The fabricated medical emergency angle strengthens the fraud case significantly. The hospital social worker called next. Your brother was discharged this morning with standard rib fracture care instructions, pain management, and rest. He'll heal fine. Your parents picked him up and drove him to the police station for booking. Just wanted to confirm you're aware the medical emergency described to you was not accurate. I wiped oatmeal from the counter. I figured that out when I called back. Thanks for confirming. Click. Then Mom sent the longest voice note I'd ever received. 2 minutes of complete breakdown. I played it on speaker while washing dishes. He used your old address because you always bailed him out before, and he thought you'd do it again. He's your baby brother, Nolan. The detective told us this could be 5 to 10 years if he's convicted on both charges. They have him in an orange jumpsuit. We're sitting in a room that smells like vomit while church members send us money because his own brother won't lift a finger. You lied to us your whole life about caring. You never loved this family. You just wanted control. Well, congratulations. You broke us. Destroyed your brother's life. Ruined your parents' retirement. All because you're a selfish, cold-hearted snake who only cares about himself. I deleted it. Rinsed the bowl. Started a load of laundry. By 11:30, the casino compliance officer called. We've reviewed your fraud report and the police documentation. The application was definitely submitted using your information without authorization. We're cooperating fully with law enforcement. You have zero liability. Thank you. I'd like written confirmation of that. Absolutely. I'll email it within the hour. And I assume you'll be pursuing charges? We're coordinating with the DA's office. This type of fraud carries serious consequences. I hung up feeling lighter. The bail bondsman called 5 minutes later. 10% non-refundable. 800 cash. We can have him out in 2 hours. Call his parents. They're there. No collateral available from them. I hung up. Savannah's GoFundMe had climbed past 23,000. All donations from people in our circle, family, church, Dad's old work buddies. I saved them all to the evidence folder. I refreshed my work email. 47 new messages. Subject lines from people who knew my family. Former neighbors. Family friends. Disgrace. Hope you're proud. We know what you did to your brother. My boss had forwarded one with a question mark. I didn't panic. I'd been documenting everything for a reason. Composed an email to my boss and HR. Subject, RE. Weekend social media activity. Attaching context for the social media campaign targeting me. My estranged family is fundraising under false pretenses after a trip to Lake Tahoe. Documented evidence attached, showing luxury spending. They made up a medical emergency, claiming life support, internal bleeding, and brain death when hospital records show stable condition with minor rib fractures. Hospital documentation attached. They've committed identity fraud using my information, which I've reported to law enforcement in both Colorado and Nevada. Case numbers below. The GoFundMe contradicts both their social media posts and the actual medical diagnosis. I've filed police reports for doxing and online harassment, contacted GoFundMe's fraud department, and am cooperating with the DA's office. All personal information shared was without my knowledge or consent. Please let me know if you need additional documentation. I'll be in the office tomorrow as planned. Sent. My boss replied in 4 minutes. Thanks for the heads up. Let us know if we need to involve security. Then I locked down my credit with all 3 bureaus. Froze everything. At 6 p.m., I got an email from GoFundMe. After review of submitted evidence and complaints, we have temporarily paused this campaign and frozen all funds pending investigation. Medical claims made in fundraiser description contradict provided hospital documentation. Donors will be notified within 5 to 7 business days regarding refund eligibility. I forwarded that to the detective handling Jace's case with a simple note. Additional evidence of fraudulent conduct including fabrication of medical emergency. I cooked salmon that night, streamed a movie, went to bed with every notification silenced. For the first time in 32 years, nobody on earth could touch me. Monday afternoon, my phone rang from an unknown Nevada number. I almost let it go to voicemail, but something told me to answer. Nolan? Dad's voice was raw, like he'd been chain-smoking since dawn. He didn't waste time on greetings. Jace has been in trouble for 3 years straight, not just weekends. Every week. Online at first, then driving to every casino within 200 miles. He's into bookies, loan apps, casino credit lines. 85,000 total before this trip. He started coughing hard. First time he came clean was 18 months ago. Owed 30 grand. Your mom and I took out a reverse mortgage on the house to cover it. Told ourselves it was one time. He swore he'd stop. Another cough. I could hear airport announcements in the background. 4 months ago, it happened again. 55,000. We refinanced again. Maxed everything. Bank sent the final foreclosure warning last week. 60 days to pay or the house is gone. We thought one last big win in Tahoe would fix everything. That's why we gave him 3 grand. He said he had a system. He paused, breathing heavy. He lost it all in 6 hours. Started opening casino credit lines with fake IDs. When it all crashed, your mother panicked and lied about him dying, because we thought if you believed it was life or death, you'd finally pay without asking questions like you used to. I set the glass down. And you're telling me this why? Because we're out of moves, Nolan. The house, the cars, mom's jewelry, everything's gone or pledged. The only asset left is you. If you take out a personal loan for 100 grand, we can pay the bank. Get Jason to real rehab. Keep a roof over our heads. One final time. He's in a cell promising he'll change. He said he's sorry for what he said to you. I walked to the balcony, slid the door open, let the cold air hit my face. So let me make sure I understand. You mortgaged the family home twice to cover his debts. You knew he was sick, and you still handed him cash for one last score. When it crashed, you made up a medical emergency and lied about him dying to manipulate me. And now that it's all collapsed, you want me to borrow 6 figures to save you from consequences you created? Dad's voice cracked. He's our baby boy, Nolan. You've always been strong, independent. You never needed us like he does. This is what big brothers do. What family does. I stared out at the Denver skyline. Mountains sharp against blue. That's the problem, Dad. You've always treated him like the only one who matters. You just admitted you lied about him dying to manipulate me. After everything, after $127,000, you still thought lying was the move. Silence stretched so long, I thought the call dropped. Then he whispered, "Please, Nolan. I'm begging. I'm on my knees in this airport. Your mother is destroyed. Jace is destroyed. Don't do this. Don't be this person." I closed my eyes. Funny. Jace already told me how this ends. Hope you die alone. Consider this me respecting his vision. Dead silence. Then I continued. You taught me my whole life that family comes first, that the oldest son had to carry everyone. You made that rule. I lived by it for 32 years. And the second I stop, I'm the villain. The second I ask for truth, I'm heartless. Well, congratulations, Dad. You created exactly what you needed. An ATM that finally shut down. He was crying. Ugly, choking sobs. I'm sorry. I know we failed you. I know we put him first every time. I know we lied. But if you don't help, we lose everything. Jace goes to prison. Your mom and I are homeless at 60. Is that really what you want? I watched a hawk circling high above the city. No, that's not what I want. But it's what you built. And I'm done paying for it. Nolan, I'm not a bank, Dad. I'm your son. And you lost the right to ask me for anything the day you lied about him dying to manipulate money out of me. After everything else. That was the line. He was openly weeping now. You're really going to let your brother rot in jail? Let your parents lose everything? He's 28. He made adult choices. Let him face adult consequences. And you made your choices too. Goodbye, Dad. I ended the call. Blocked the number right away. Opened my laptop. Ran a full credit report on myself and my parents. The reverse mortgages were there in black and white. Both in Mom and Dad's names only. Jace wasn't even on the deed. My name appeared nowhere. Legally, the house wasn't my problem. Never had been. That was the last time I ever spoke to my father. Foreclosure hit fast. The county posted the notice within days. The house on Coral Shelf Street. Padlocked. A neighbor sent me a photo of the yellow eviction sticker. Mom and Dad had 30 minutes to grab what they could. 23 years of equity drained for Jace's problems. Gone. The DA offered Jace a plea deal. First offense, and the casino didn't want a trial circus. Attempted fraud, misdemeanor assault. 18 months suspended. Mandatory 90-day rehab program. 5 years probation. Restitution to the casino and to me. He took it. Once GoFundMe froze the campaign and sent refund notifications, the family turned on Savannah. Same relatives who donated now accusing her of scamming them. She posted one statement blaming mom and dad, then deleted all her accounts. I changed my number, gave the new one to 8 people, blocked every relative, froze my credit. Then I closed the laptop, turned off my phone, and went back to what they never paid for. My life. Update. So I went to see Jace yesterday. Not because I'm soft, not because guilt finally caught up with me. I went because his public defender called my work line, still don't know how he got it, and said Jace put me down as the only approved visitor for a supervised session. The counselor wanted a family reconciliation attempt, documented for his file before his formal sentencing hearing. I told the PD I wasn't interested in reconciliation. He said, "You don't have to reconcile. Just show up so we can say we tried." I figured I'd rather hear whatever nonsense he was planning face-to-face than get guilt texted into compassion 6 months from now. The county facility smelled like disinfectant and fear. No phone, no belt, empty your pockets into a locker. They walked me into a small room with a table bolted to the floor and a counselor sitting in the corner with a clipboard like some kind of referee. Jace looked like he'd aged 5 years in 3 weeks. Orange jumpsuit hanging off him. Hair greasy, eyes bloodshot. The kind of look that happens when fluorescent lights don't have an off switch and your cellmate snores like a lawnmower. He didn't try to hug me, didn't smile, just sat down across from me and slid a printed document across the table. "I signed this already," he said, voice flat. "It's a statement for the DA. Everything I did. The fake ID. The credit line attempt using your old address. Savannah coaching me on what to say to make you look worse. All of it." I picked it up. 3 pages. Notarized. Every detail laid out in bureaucratic language. He kept going. "I didn't treat you like a brother. I treated you like a bank with a guilt button I could press whenever I needed a withdrawal. And when you finally stopped paying, I tried to humiliate you online because I thought if enough people called you a monster, you'd cave like you always did. No tears. No dramatic pauses. Just a guy who'd been sitting in a cell long enough to realize he wasn't the main character. I'm agreeing to full restitution, whatever the court says, and I'm signing over access to every account, every login, every piece of paper I used. You want to see the loan apps? The credit lines? The fake documents? It's all yours." I leaned back in the chair, watched him, waiting for the angle. "Why now?" He exhaled slow. "Because Savannah came to visit me last week, and that's when he showed me the screenshots." Jace pulled a folder from under his statement. His public defender called it the discovery packet. Jace requested one condition when scheduling this session. I could walk out with it. Text threads between him and Savannah going back several months. Before Tahoe, before the credit line, before any of it. Savannah had planned the entire campaign like a content strategy. Message from early in the planning. If we push the family emergency angle hard enough, Nolan will crack. He always does. But we need medical language. Life support hits harder than broken ribs. Your people donate to dying, not injured. Another message a week later. When it goes public, tag his employer. Make it about his character, not the money. If his coworkers see it, he'll pay just to make it stop. A draft post from 2 weeks before the Tahoe trip, outlining the exact TikTok she'd eventually film. Shot list, caption templates, hashtag strategy. She'd even written out which family members to send it to first for maximum spread. A few days before they flew out, Dad said Nolan's info is still in the family files from when he was listed as your emergency contact years ago. If you use his old Denver address on the application, the casino won't flag it right away. By the time he finds out, we'll have the money and he'll pay to avoid fraud charges like always. I stared at the printouts. "She knew you were going to use my information?" Jace nodded. "She didn't just know. She helped me fill out the application, told me exactly what to write, what documents to fake. She said you'd been hoarding money for years, and it was time someone made you pay it forward." Her words. Another screenshot. This one from the night of the ER. Savannah to Jace. "Mom's calling him now with the dying story. I'm going live in 10 minutes. Make sure your face looks worse than it is. Groan when I zoom in. I need this to look desperate." I felt something cold drop in my chest. So the whole thing, the fundraiser, the medical emergency, the doxing campaign, that was her? "She ran point," Jace said. "Mom and Dad knew about the credit line plan, but they thought it was just me being stupid. They didn't know Savannah was setting up the social media angle as a backup. When everything crashed, she pivoted to the GoFundMe within hours. Already had the photos ready, already had the message drafted. It wasn't panic, it was scheduled. The counselor in the corner was writing like crazy. I set the pages down. "And you're telling me this why?" Jace's jaw tightened. "Because when the DA showed me screenshots of her messages coaching me to blame you for the fraud attempt, I realized I was her test case. She's been building a platform around family accountability content, posts about cutting off toxic siblings, videos about financial abuse. You were supposed to be her villain origin story, the heartless engineer brother who let his family suffer. He leaned forward. She came here last week and told me if I kept my mouth shut and took the full fall, she'd use her platform to fundraise for my future once I got out. Said she could turn me into a redemption arc if I played along. And if I didn't, she'd make sure every single person in our family knew I snitched on her. He pulled out one more page. A drafted statement in Savannah's handwriting. Not typed, handwritten. She even wrote this for me to sign if the fraud charges stuck. A statement claiming you pressured me into using your information, that you knew about the credit line and approved it but backed out when it went bad to make me look like the villain. She was setting up a legal defense that made you the co-conspirator. I stared at the page. My name in her handwriting. Details that would have been just believable enough to create reasonable doubt. She wasn't just trying to ruin your reputation, Jace said. She was building an exit strategy that put you in the crosshairs if I went down. I let that sit for a second. So you're flipping on her to save yourself? Yeah, he said. No hesitation. I'm drowning, Nolan. And she's the one who tied the weights to my ankles. I'm not going down alone for someone who turned my life into content strategy. He slid another document across the table. An affidavit. Signed by him. Naming Savannah as a co-conspirator in the fraud attempt and the doxing campaign. Time-stamped messages. Screenshots with metadata. A recorded call where she walked him through the credit application step by step. The DA said if I cooperate and provide evidence on her involvement, they'll consider reducing my sentence. I'm not asking you to forgive me. I'm asking if you want to nail the person who actually orchestrated this. I picked up the affidavit. Read it twice. The counselor cleared her throat. We have 15 minutes left in the session. Is there anything else you'd like to discuss? Jace looked at me. I'm signing up for the extended rehab program. 90 days inpatient, 6 months outpatient. But it costs $8,000 the state won't cover. I'm asking you to pay the facility directly, not me. I don't want cash. I want structure. He slid another document across the table. A promissory note template, blank. I'll sign whatever you want. Legally binding repayment plan. Wage garnishment agreement once I'm employed. The DA said if you're willing to support my treatment, it shows stability and could influence sentencing. But I'm not asking for a handout. I'm asking for terms. There it was. The ask. I set the papers down. So, let me get this straight. You're offering me evidence to destroy Savannah's life in exchange for me funding your rehab. That's the trade. Jace didn't flinch. If you don't help, I go back to county after sentencing, and I'll be out in 6 months with no support system and the same addiction that got me here. If you do help, I get clean and Savannah gets what she deserves. Your call. I studied his face, looking for the con, the angle. I couldn't tell if he regretted what he did, or if he just regretted that it didn't work. I stood up, looked at the stack of evidence on the table. I'll think about it. He nodded, didn't argue, didn't beg. Fair enough. I walked out of that facility with the folder under my arm and sat in my truck for 20 minutes staring at the steering wheel. 3 paths in front of me. Option A, pay the rehab directly. Cooperate with the DA against Savannah. Get her off the internet and Jace into treatment. Become the fixer one more time. Option B, don't pay. Still cooperate against Savannah using his evidence. Let him face consequences while taking down the person who orchestrated it. Option C, pay the rehab, but refuse to help prosecute Savannah. Let them both face their own messes without turning myself into their weapon. If I pay, I'm buying a seat at the table I escaped. If I don't, I'm letting the wrong person win. If I halfway commit, I'm playing a game I don't fully understand yet. He sounded real. The proof he showed me was worse than anything I expected, but he also only got honest after the handcuffs came out. So I'm asking, do you throw a rope to someone who lit the fire if he's also handing you the matchbook that proves who planned the whole thing? I pulled out my phone, called the rehab facility, and asked what direct payment options exist. Left my number. Then I forwarded the affidavit to my lawyer with no explanation. I told Jace I'd answer in 48 hours. Haven't decided yet. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel and help us bring you more and better stories. Thanks.